Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla. We closed at 358.43, and as you can see, y'all, we came down here and found support at this 352.70 area. Bounce from there only to come back and make a high here of, let's see, 356.70. Came back down, and this is our support area here at 353.44. Well, we got some information that just came out, right? I'm sure PCE, I believe. Well, right now, where are the trouble places? Let's start there, right? So using the moving averages, our VWAP, the 50 EMA, 20 EMA, that's going to be a rejection area for us. So back to the upside, we will need to get back above 355.23, which is the area here that we came and found support. It is now our resistance. I had to say that right. So back to the upside, breaking this 355.23 area, we could very well find some, resistance or trouble again. 355.83, again 356.11, breaking at 356.41. And if we should break that, the ATR trail and stop is forming here at the 356.94, not far away from the level that I have marked at 357.11. So should we break that, back to the upside, 357.61 could be a rejection area. And if we should break that level, 357.99, breaking that brings us back to 358.48 as a rejection area for Tesla. Now let's look back to the downside. Let's see. Back to the downside, if we lose this area of support, let's say around the 350.344, we can come back and retest 352.02. Breaking that brings us back to around the 352.70 area, which is what stopped us here. Now, breaking this level brings us back to a level that I have marked at 351.88. And if we should break that, 350.61, breaking the 350.61, you see there's a few layers of support here. Let's say 350.02, 349.37, 348.75. Those are support places for Tesla. Breaking that brings us back to 347.80. So if you are trading Tesla today, those are possible areas of rejection or, possible support or resistance areas. And y'all know I say so often in this market, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. So trade carefully, right? So we are now looking at the SPY, and what's interesting, we had closed at 590.05. We were trading sideways here for a long time, and y'all, I have been looking at my 35-minute chart, and I knew that it kind of looked different. I like to look at the 30-minute. So back to the 30-minute chart for the SPY. We've been trading sideways for a while here, and what's interesting is, we came up pre-market. The high of this candle is 590.01. The low of this candle is 585.58. So that is the range. We broke out of this gathering spot only to come down here and find support at an area. Let me see if I can mark that. At an area that we kind of knew. There we are, very close to that area. So I'm going to zoom back out to go back to that. So I always say where the trouble places for the SPY. We need to get back above this 588.38, 588.92, 589.20, 589.68. 590.16, breaking that ATR trail and stopping, and level that we have marked here is around that 590.79. Breaking that is strong resistance in my opinion. Should we break that, we could very well have trouble again. 591.57, 591.97, and again at 592.62. Breaking that brings us back to 593.30. Should we break that for the SPY, 594.17 is a rejection area. Now let's look to the downside. Back to the downside under, let's say if we get back under 588.13, 587.58, breaking that 587.20. If we break that area, 586.95, kind of something stopped us here. That's where the body of these two candles are here. So I'm going to say 586.97, 586.95 area. Should we break that, 586.67, breaking that level brings us back to 586.30, 586.15, and again here at 585.81. Breaking that level brings us back to this level of 585.58. Something stopped us here before. It would not surprise me to see us back in this area or below that area. Again, not financial advice, y'all. So I say mark your levels and trade carefully. So let's look at AMD today just to see where we are. We closed at 113.03. It too has been trading in this little gathering spot here. Support is around this level 112.01. Resistance, we can say, is around this 112.68 area, or you know, the 112.77. Let's say 112.77. I'm looking at where the body of the candles are here. The candles are here, and they're mostly around this 112.72 area. So that is a rejection area for us back to the upside. Should we break that level, we could very well have trouble again. 113.01, which is where our 50 MA is as of now. Breaking that brings us to the ATR trail and stop around 113.25. In my opinion, that's going to be a strong rejection area. Should we break that, you see where the 200 EMA is at the 113.53 area, which is at close to a 113.56 area that I have marked as a support or resistance, y'all. So if you're trading AMD today, we could possibly have trouble in this area breaking through the ATR trail and stop. We could still have a little trouble here. So let's say if we break up, you know, beyond the 113.56, 113.83, 114.28, and again 114.61 could be a rejection area for us. Now back to the downside under this 112.01, we could very well come back down to the 111.61, 111.58, and the level I have marked is 111.42 as a support area. 111.03, and breaking that level brings us back to 110.62. Breaking that 110.62, we can come back to 109.91, again down here at 109.20, 108.60. those are possible support places for AMD. Y'all keep in mind, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are, right? So we are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 139.19. It too was trading in kind of like this zone here. I'm going to mark this level here because price is kind of like filling in a space that I need to know where we could possibly have trouble. So we're going to say here as a support area. So right now, where the trouble places for NVIDIA, let's say resistance is around the 138.78 as of now under the 50 EMA on this 30-minute chart. Breaking that level brings us back to the 139.12 area. Should we break that, you see the ATR trail and stop is right here at a 139.58, an area that we have already marked. So definitely, in my opinion, that's going to be a strong resistance area, which is not far from this 139.70, another rejection area for NVIDIA. Now, should we break that, we could very well have trouble. 140.08, 140.38, 140.68, 140.92, and again at 141.42. Should we break that, 141.64, 141.89, and 142.08? Those are possible rejection areas or resistance areas for NVIDIA as of now. Now back to the downside. Let's look to the downside. If we break back under, let's say this level here under the 138.46, we could very well come back to, I made this a little bit bigger so that we can see that price have come back to this area here for a while. So I mean, it came back to kind of fill in a space that I did not have marked. So that's charting 101. Let's say that, right, where your trouble places. So back to the downside, we found support at 138.13. Breaking that level brings us back to around this level of 137.79. And keep in mind, something did stop us here in this area. So I'm going to try to mark that. Even though it's really, really close, something still stopped us in this area for NVIDIA. So back to the downside, 138.13, 138.03. Again at 137.79, something stopped us in this area here. I need to remember that right here at 137.62. Breaking that level brings us back to around 137.46. Now if we should break that, something stopped us here in this level, in this area, which is 137.31, and as you can see, is not far from the 200 EMA. So breaking that level brings us back to 136.99. Breaking that brings us back to 137 or 136.99. So if you are trading NVIDIA today, those are possible areas to the upside and to the downside. And y'all know I say again, not financial advice, and in this market anything is possible. We do have a few inside day candles today, CVX being one of those, meaning if we break beyond this level here of 137.99, we have an upside target here of 138.81. Now to the downside, if we should break under this level, 136.07, downside target for CVX is 135.63. CVX is an inside day candle. PFE Pfizer is also an inside day candle. Let's say if by chance we break above 23.46, and as you can see, we've already made a pre-market high of 23.51. See if we can mark that 23.51. Now, if we break beyond that and continue to the upside target is 23.64. Now, to the downside for Pfizer or PFE, 23.15. If we should break that level under that, 23.11 is the target. So if that is something that you trade, y'all know I say so often, trade carefully in this market. Anything is possible. Let's look at Meta today just to see where we are. We closed at 645.05, and as you can see, this is our gathering spot. Price has been gathering in this area here. That 640.42 is our support area. Resistance, we can say here, is at 643.31. We've been in this zone, right? So where the trouble places back to the upside, if I would use the 50 EMA as a resistance area, 643.95. Breaking that brings us back to around this level. I'm going to use this here as 645.08 or 645.08, and if we should break that level, 645.83. I need to remove that. That's gonna be yes. So let's get rid of that. So 644.99. So it's giving me 645.08. If we should break that level, 645.88, and breaking that brings us back to 646.99. Should we break that area, the ATR trailing stop as of now 647.70, and if we should break that level, 648.31. Breaking that 648.31, 649.30 could be a rejection area for us. Now, should we break that, 651.55 could be a rejection area, and if we break that level, 652.41, and again here at 654.03. So if you're trading Meta today, those are possible rejection areas or, you know, resistance areas back to the upside. Now, to the downside, let's say if we get back under the 641.47, we could come back to this area of support, which is around the 640.42 area. Breaking that, something stopped us. I'm going to see in this area here, something stopped us. Okay, let me remove that. So something stopped us in this area of 639.97. If we should break that level, 639.05, coming back down, if we should lose that area of support, 637.38, breaking that brings us back to 635.49. Keep in mind, y'all, anything can stop us out here and here, as it did. You know, we just marked those levels there, so pay very close attention if Meta is something that you trade today. Now, again, under 637.38 area, 635.49, under that, 633.80. So if that's something that you trade, mark your levels. I say so often, once it goes against your why, get out, live to trade another day. I'm going to go back to Tesla because I was looking at it on a different time frame. This is what I like to see on this 30-minute chart. Tesla was trading in a gathering spot. We came down, found support, kind of gave us the same information. It's just a different view. I like to say it tells a story that I like to read, right? So we found support here at this 653.02 area, or the 653.02 is our support. Moved up to the upside, got rejected, only to come back down to this support area here of 653.44. So if you're trading Tesla today, I say trade carefully. It is trading in a zone, and we are under the 358.43 that we started when we closed. Let's say that, right? So yeah, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today, y'all. Again, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out what strategy works best for you and having the discipline to execute your plan. So make sure you understand where your support and your resistance is, or where your possible trouble places are. So again, y'all, if you could please like, share, comment, and subscribe, because we learn and we grow together, y'all. With that being said, have an awesome day today. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.